What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host, as always. My name is Jimmy. And the same way we start off every show, we start off this show, and that's with gratitude. I want to say thank you to all of our supporters, our family, specifically our students in By the Hood University, which is growing like crazy. Like the amount of students that are coming through the university is unbelievable right now. Shout out to everybody taking the precious metals course. We also had an uptick in people taking the stock market course and some folks with the options course. So we got a little bit of everything going on, and the group is growing, sharing information. One thing I do want to say is for the students in there, make sure to pay attention. We have a new challenge. We got this called the $1 Million Challenge. So myself, Corey, Antonio, and Jay Johnson, who are all members of the group, we're going to take $1,000, and during the course of this year, we're going to pretty much show all of the students every specific trade we make, how we come up with the trades, and we're going to see if we can take that trade from $1,000 to see how big we can grow our account. So that should be interesting. It should be fun, and come along for the journey for our students. For those who aren't a member of By the Hood University, what are you waiting for? We got courses and specials. And if you buy any course, as well as the course of our brothers, man, Malik has his course, 6 Steps to 7 Figures. You buy that course, as well as our brother Camille, who has a cryptocurrency course that gives you access to our private group. So with that being said, I just want to send a shout out to you guys, man. I got my brother Corey in the building as always. Corey, what's up, good brother?
Yo, man, I'm living La Vida Loca, man. Every day above ground is a good day, man. I can't complain. I can complain, but ain't nobody gonna listen.
Yeah, so this is absolutely true, man. Also, shout out to everybody that buy our merch, man. I got a piece on now, By the Hood Stacker, and I know these start flying off the shelf, right? So we got the American Eagle precious metals and Bitcoin and Ethereum on there. Crazy part is when crypto took off, people start to buy the crypto merch. We've been selling it for a while, but it is what it is, man. Shout out to everybody in the crypto space out there as well. You know what I mean? That's talked about in the group as well. But listen, let's get to our show. For the folks that watch our show, you already know our show is designed to highlight brothers and sisters who are doing amazing work in the field, out in the community, building businesses. And this guest is a special guest, man. This is our brother right here, man. This is Anthony Lee. He's a landlord, real estate developer, investor, agent, the whole nine. And he's out here doing amazing work. What's up, Anthony? How you, good brother?
What's going on, fellas? I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yeah, man. Listen, appreciate your time, man. You know what I'm saying? You're a busy man. And by the way, that background is absolutely amazing.
And
I gotta say that.
Well, salute to my guy, Chuck Styles, man. He made this back when the All-Star game was in LA. And I just, I just had bought my house and said, yo, I'm an adult now. I need some artwork in the house. So I started collecting a few pieces, and that's my, my thing, to be worth some money one day.
That's right, man. Art is an asset.
My man Snoopy, Mike Cole, and I got another LeBron piece.
Oh, that's dope. See, mix the sport in with your art, man. And art is an asset. That's fire, though. I had to say that, man. So listen, man, before we get started to talk about some of the things you currently got going on, tell us about your background. Where are you from? What schools you go to?
So Anthony Lee, A. Lee Real Estate. My mother and father, Anthony Lee and Utoria Lee, from Philadelphia, grew up in Yaden. So I'm a suburb city kid mixed in one. I tell people I was blessed that, I got to see what it was like to, have grass, but then also be in an environment where, it's, survival mode kind of thing. So, went to Catholic school most of my life. So I had private education. But again, you coming home to the environment, so you learn in the best of both worlds kind of thing. So I kind of learned at an early age how to maneuver in the corporate setting kind of thing, and then also around the way with the homies.
Got you.
Went to West Catholic High School, then I went to Newman University. I initially went to college for sports medicine. So, my mom, growing up is like, yo, what you gonna do? I don't really know. But mom wanted me to, to go to school for some type of medicine or some type of specialty. And, I honestly, it wasn't for me. So I went to school. I tried to do it. I ended up on academic probation my sophomore year. So I had to figure out what I was going to do because, now I'm wasting money and about to get kicked out because of my grades. So from there, I made the decision to get my degree in early childhood elementary education, which I always had a passion. I coached basketball growing up, and even today I still work with the youth. So I figured out a way so I could still graduate, maybe I did an extra semester to still graduate, not on time, but close enough. So I finished, got my bachelor's degree. But for me, I always had that entrepreneur hustle spirit. I started my first job. Well, I got my first job at the age of 12, cutting grass with one of the older men in my neighborhood. He had a landscaping company. So I got on the truck with him, worked with him. I did that for one summer. And what messed me up with him was he wasn't paying me. I thought was worth. I'm doing all the heavy lifting, cutting all the yards, and he just on the blower and on the phone talking to the moms in the neighborhood, and I'm getting pennies. So I'm like, man, I ain't gonna keep doing this. So my mom had a lawnmower, so I took the lawnmower. I said I wasn't working for him no more, and I just started cutting grass all in my neighborhood. So I really started my business and networking in my community. Pretty much from the age of 12 to 22, I had this landscaping business all throughout. And from there, I got the bug and I started networking with people. And for me, I realized doing that was like, man, I could be doing this hard manual labor, but I need to figure out how I could do stuff that's going to get me checks. I didn't want to get $20 here, $50 here. And that was how I got put on the real estate. And then once I got put on the real estate, it was pretty much, sky's the limit. Like, with real estate, you could go as big or as small as you want to go.
Who was the person that put you down with real estate? Like, who was the person that came to you and said, take a look at this?
So it's a few people, but the main person that initially put me on was my cousin. I got a cousin from New York. His mom and aunt were in real estate in New York. So one year, I think I was in high school, my senior or junior year, and he pulled up in a Maserati. So again, where we come from, it's like, how you get a Maserati? Like,
exactly.
I know you got a job as far as I know. Like, you selling drugs? What's up? He was like, nah, get a car. Took me for a ride. He took me to a couple buildings, was like, I own this, I own this, I own that. And he was like, man, they paid a mortgage and put money in my pocket. So he was like, plus the money I make from my job. He was like, I can afford nice things because I make additional money while I'm at work. He said, I don't pay for it, they just pay for it. So between him and then back home, like I said, growing up, being in the city, really like my older brother, he's my best friend. He showed me real estate at the barbershop. So he was cutting hair and I'm like, man, how you be moving? How you be moving? I'm like, man, same thing. Like, yo, you selling drugs? He like, nah, the car. Everybody around the way, they got nice cars.
Yeah, I know, I got you.
You like, he do what you do, but he look messed up and you don't look messed up. So, he put me in the car and he showed me a couple of his buildings. He only had 2, but he was renting rooms. So from that moment, I'm like, wait, so every week you get money from these people just to live here? So, knowing what I know now, I'm not the landlord that want to rent rooms. But, if you want to get constant money and you don't mind that hustle and bustle, renting rooms, you make a couple $100 every week. You just got to chase the people down. So once I seen that between my junior year of high school and my freshman year of college, I always had it in the back of my mind, like one day I want that. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. So like literally after I failed, there was my sophomore year and was changing my major, I started going to network events. In Philadelphia, they got a group called DIG, Diversified Investors Group. And I just used to go. Say it again.
I used to be a member of DIG. I remember DIG.
Yep. So I used to go and I used to just sit and, be in a room, just be a fly on the wall. I didn't know any of this stuff. That, and then, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad courses on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I would go pay the little $300 or whatever, the free events. I was going to all of that. Than Merrill, all them dudes. That's when, selling courses, we ain't know it was so popular back then. I just knew they was always trying to upsell you something. But now, selling courses is the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the crazy part. You took the initiative to invest in yourself, like paying that money to go to courses. What made you so confident to pay that money to go to courses?
So at the time, I appreciate you saying that. I didn't know it was confidence or me even invested in myself. I just was like, yo, I got to figure out a way to get into the room. So, it's like you go to college, you pay to get into the building. You go to the movie theaters, you paying to get into the building. So I just was like, yo, if I'm going to pay for something, I want to pay for something that's going to make me money either now or later. Got you. So that was really just my mindset with it. I just trying to get the door and meet somebody.
What was your first foray into the game? Was it as an agent, as an investor? What was your first entry into real estate?
So my first entry was, once I realized what I was trying to do, I happened to be talking to my grandparents, man. I didn't know they also own real estate. So they got a nice house in Jersey with a golf course behind their crib, the gated community. I'm like, I know y'all not trapping and doing nothing crazy, but my grandpa, once I told him like what I was into, he was like, man, older people, or I guess the generation before us, they don't like to share, I guess, because it's like, they don't want everybody in their business or thinking they got money, but it's like, yo, I see you got money. I see the house.
Yeah.
But my grandpa worked for SEPTA. My grandmom, she worked for the Philly Inquirer. So, I just like, man, I thought they jobs was just caking, and it wasn't the jobs. It was the jobs plus the investment. So he told me real estate. So, my junior year, I had a job plus my little hustle jobs I was doing. I tried to get a mortgage. My mom was completely against it. How is somebody going to give you a mortgage and you only, I think at the time I was like 19. She's like, you're not an adult. I'm like, Mom, I'm an adult. I'm grown. I feed myself, Mom. Mind you, I'm still stealing food out the fridge when I come home from school.
Yeah.
So
how'd that work out?
That crib, but I couldn't get the mortgage approval. I didn't make enough money. They said I literally was short $100 for the mortgage pre-approval in my income. And the crib was only like a $35,000 house at the time in North Philly, man. But that was like my introduction of me trying it. And then so when I failed, I said, yo, I'm going to come back to this and figure it out. So literally, I want to say a year after I graduated college, I used my job and I bought a duplex right in West Philly. Cost me like $4,500 out of pocket. The mortgage was $600. The rent was $600 on the first floor. The second floor was $700 in rent. So, I had to technically live in that building. But for me, I ended up staying in my mom's back room and just collecting the rent. And from there, it was like I got that itch. Like, yo, I'm making this money every month and people going to pay me to live here. So it was great in the beginning. I had that first tenant that didn't start paying rent. And then he flooded my bathroom because he was mad at me.
Ooh. So now let me ask you a question, right? Because I think a lot of landlords go through this. Like I went through this. Like when you deal with your first bad tenant, you be like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this no more. Like, what was that experience like dealing with your first bad tenant?
So it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I'm more so, again, so I got two sides of friends and family. So you learn business, corporate, then you learn the street. So, it's my ego. I'm like, oh, he trying to disrespect me. So I tell my homies, like, we got to go over there and talk to him. But I'm like, then I realized, like, we get over there like, oh, this not what we really want. Like, nah, I ain't even on that time. So it was like, we had words, we left it at that. And I'm like, oh, let me hit one of my other folks up. Now we going to learn how they do it how the big boy do it. You send that paperwork and just do the eviction.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like, oh, now I see the game. But I definitely wasn't discouraged. I'm young. I'm still living in my mom's back room. I'm just looking at it like it's an obstacle. Plus the tenant on the second floor is still paying the mortgage because they paying $700. I lost that little not little, but I lost that $600, which was my profit. But the building still was maintaining itself. So it was like, yo, it's cool. And like I said, I lived in the back room. So I had no overhead, no kids at the time. But, it was what it was. But it definitely took me like, yo, it's not personal. Like for people crazy, like people got a lot of stuff wrong with them, man. Come to find out that tenant in particular, he ended up getting locked up. So we ain't even make it to landlord tenant court.
All right. So from there, what was your next move in terms of like, because I know you're a licensed agent now too.
That's when I got licensed. So after I got the first crib, I ended up getting licensed the next year. I initially wanted to do wholesaling, going to them classes, in Maryland, all like, yo, be a wholesaler. You could learn the game, Man, I couldn't figure out how to do it. So somebody else I met through Dig, they told me, yo, you want to come work with me? So I was doing tenant placement for him, for all the other landlords he was hanging with. And then he was like, yo, we about to go big and open up a full office. I need you to get your license. So I struggled at first. I failed my real estate exam 9 times before I actually passed. But once I got licensed, I ended up being rookie of the year in my office. I just was selling cribs. Same thing. Whatever business I got, I always start with my friends and family first. I don't do nothing but go to my friends and family. If you friends and family with me and you don't rock with what I'm trying, I don't need you. We don't rock with each other because, I'm going to help you as well as you helping me. So I sold houses to all my friends that graduated college that had a decent job.
Yo, that's interesting, right? Because I think it was Boone, who another successful agent. I think he told me he failed his test several times too. Like y'all dudes that failed the test
It doesn't measure intelligence, man. It doesn't measure heart and hustle. It just measures. Yeah, it don't measure intelligence, heart, or hustle. It only measures whether or not you know that little.
Whether you can memorize some stuff.
Yeah, whether you got remember. Listen, man, I get it, man.
The messed up thing is the stuff on the test ain't what we do out here in real life.
At all. You know, so for those out there, man, maybe struggling for your test, man, keep at it, because you're the second person that told me, like, I don't think his was 9. Maybe it was 9. It was a bunch of. I know it was a bunch of times. He was like, they finally got it, and now he out here cooking, and you out here cooking too. So I think that's a dope story of perseverance, because a lot of folks, man, after a couple of times, they're like, man, I ain't doing this.
No, like, yo, after, like, swear to goodness, like, after you cry a couple times and then on top of it, you done told everybody, like, yo, I'm about to be a real estate agent. You can't go back and tell them you're not doing it no more because you couldn't pass a test.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. You just gonna get clowned.
Nah, this is true.
I couldn't face that. So that was motivation. On top of it, at the time, my wife now, me and her had just moved in together. So it's like I can't let her down as well as let myself down. So it was the motivation between, like I said, not letting the people see me fail, and on top of that, I stepped up like, yo, we gonna live together. Like, so I gotta figure this out.
Yeah. So, I mean, what was that transition like from going to, being a landlord, wanting to be in the real estate business, and now you're a licensed agent and, you're taking on clients and all that? You said you were the rookie of the year the first year. Let me ask you this, right? You still do both. You still do both to this day, right?
So that's like the gift and curse. So you get into the game to be an agent because most agents want to be investors, right? I don't know too many. Say it again.
I said that is absolute facts.
Yeah, so I don't know too many agents that say, hey, I just want to sell a bunch of houses and that's going to be my life. You get into real estate in general because you want freedom. So you look at me being an agent like, I don't need a job because I'll be a realtor and I sell houses to supplement my income. That's for people who know how to sell and connect with people. So for me, it was like I started out selling more houses than I was buying, and I go through, ups and downs. So I go through periods where I'm buying a bunch of houses. I go through periods where I'm selling way more houses than I'm buying. But again, it's the struggle of trying to balance it all out. So that's where you need a team. And now I have a team of 4 other agents that work with me. Our team is called the Good Neighbor Real Estate Group. So anything Good Neighbor, you'll mostly see it. My investments is Good Neighbor. My real estate group is Good Neighbor. That's how I keep it. My landscaping business was called Good Neighbor Landscaping. So I believe in partnership. So even in my investments now, I'm able to keep investing, but not have to leverage all my money by creating partnerships. And then I'm also able to be 4 places at once because I'm not the only person on my team that can show houses or deal with clients. So literally, as we doing this interview, I got somebody on my team now. They're showing houses in Delaware County for a client, and I'm able to keep moving and keep things flowing.
Okay. So basically you doing what not the same way, but what the man did to you with the landscaping, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, not eating. That's one thing about me. Like, anybody that work with me, you eat and get equal pay. You might not get exactly what I get.
No, that's what it's about. I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking. That's what it's about, man. It's about, like, collaboration over competition, man. Work together, and everybody got to eat, man. Everybody got to eat. So that's dope. So now you're doing both. You're still doing, the agency side. Do you still have the actual landscaping business right now?
So I don't, unfortunately. That one is a struggle again. That you really got to find good people that'll work with you because people don't want to wake up. You got to start that 7, 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Cut grass, sun up, sun down. It's always something to be done. So that one I struggle with. I shut that down, like I said, around like 22. And that, I wish I didn't, honestly. If I knew what I knew now about working with people, if I could have found somebody I could have partnered with, I kept that because it would have been another way. Everything go back to real estate. So I got landscaping clients. They're going to sell houses eventually. You might as well let me sell it. Yep.
Everything, all roads lead back to real estate. That's big facts.
Yeah, right.
That's big facts. So now you got everything going on. You turn successful in real estate. You document a lot of this on your IG page, man. So for the folks out there watching, I'm going to make sure to put his IG page within the description box, as well as the show notes for those who are listening to the audio. So you could take a look and see, the journey, because he documents it. You got some, I see you stepping your graphics and everything up, man. You're killing IG right now, man.
But it's the thing, man, is I kind of struggle with that. Giving too much, but also if I do give it, you got to make it captivating now, because everybody and their grandma now, everybody knew who worked for SEPTA doing Herbalife. Now they all doing real estate. So I gotta separate myself. So I've definitely been spending money and working with people so that I could put myself as the expert and the professional. But
how do you deal with that? That's a good topic, real quick, right? How do you deal with that, right? How do you deal with the fact that even though you have a certain level of success, you want to show that, but you also don't want to go too far, right? So you don't want to be out here, on Lambos and doing some of the stuff that you see folks doing online. So, but how do you deal with that?
Honestly, so I'd say two things. One, I got a therapist that I talk to once a month, and two, I got my wife. When she see me either tripping or like, yo, I'm bugging, because like I tell people, I got an alter ego in my head. I think I'm Diddy of real estate. I'm Diddy Jay-Z. You see the paper planes, baby. You see me. Like, I swear to goodness, like, I'm alter ego in my head all day, every day. You can't tell me nothing. So, I struggle with it because, like, I want to flex. I like, especially like you said, you see dudes that did one deal, they selling courses, everybody, I'm talking about dudes at 16, they talking about I'm the mentor. Like, who you mentoring? Like, you ain't lived enough life. And I'm not mad at it, but at the same token, I'll be like, you call my phone and you asking me questions, and then you selling the information to these people. And I gave it to you just on the strength that we skin folks.
Yep. Listen, I had a dude last week call me, needed help because he was facing I think I told y'all this in the group chat. You had a dude tell me he was facing foreclosure and needed all this help, and he's crying to me on the phone, and I ain't gonna put his name out there because I ain't into that, but I go on Clubhouse that night, and he out there talking about how to make $1 million in real estate, and he's leading the room, and I'm sitting there like, yo, what is going on? Like, the social media is the matrix. Like, yo, this is insane. Like, especially as we call it, Cap House now.
Right.
Cap House is out of control right now, man. But but I always wondered that for other people who are in the business, who are actually doing deals, right? So what I recognize is a lot of folks, like, once they get to the point of having courses, and we all got courses, but some people, and me and Corey talk about this, we have to remain practitioners. We got to be closing deals. We got to be trading stocks. We got to be buying metals. We got to be doing these things to be practitioners. You got to live it. And a lot of folks stop living it. And it's funny you say 16-year-old, man, because I've seen that. I've seen cats 13 years old, like, yo, I'm such and such mentor. And I'm like, okay,
How that happened.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not mad at it. Like I said, I'm a little frustrated with it, rather, because I've been putting the time in. You know what I mean? I didn't had to, I don't went periods where 6 months, no check. Like, but I had no other option but to figure it out. I didn't had times where, like, yo, we up, like, we definitely, like, tell Diddy bring the jet. Like, I'm ready. But it's like the same token, I came from that background of, like, yo, you pull your people up with you. But now I do understand people are burning you up. So now I do got the link in my bio. If you want to talk money talk, it's going to cost you. But if you just want to consult and you got a question or two, all right, we can set a time and it's free. But most of the time, for real, I'm going to tell you most of the stuff on my social media. That's the other reason why I document it.
Got you. All right, that's important. I always wondered that struggle, though, because especially coming from the city we come from, like, you got to be careful, like, with too much flossing. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. We seen people get put in trunks. Well, I ain't see it with my own two eyes, but you know, what's the name of the app? What's the app? What's the app?
Citizens
app. The Citizens app will tell you that people's bodies getting put in trunks right now. So all the extra flossing, you gotta be a little careful.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. But it's also a situation too where, like, when you talk about you have the same kind of focus we do when you pull your people up, and when you pull your people up, is also that thin line between, like, bragging and teaching, right? So you try to motivate folks and try to help them, but you don't want to go too far where it's like, man, you just telling me what you got or what you done. So it's that balance. It's that balance. Maybe I need to get me a therapist for once a month too, man, because I've been over here going through it too.
No, so the therapist, a good woman in your life, and on top of that, it's okay to take off the social media. Don't just turn the phone off. You mean just throw it to the side. I mean, and then outside of that, like, don't get it twisted. Like, you got to give them a little bit of flex. I feel like everybody got to figure out what flex works for them. So for me, I might give somebody a flex where, like, all right, I took my family on a vacation, or, you know, my biggest, like, I guess challenge is sneakers. So, you know, if I got some crazy sneaks on, it's probably more where that came from. I'm probably just giving you a taste. But, you know, I guess between that or like, yo, like flex, I pay my kids tuition in full for the year, or I pay my daycare bill, you know, in full for a month or two, something like that. You know, you cash out. For me, my flex is cashing out on the family versus like I'm not necessarily. And plus, my wife won't let me. She'll get on me. I come home with something crazy. You know.
Yeah, you pull up with a Bugatti. Pull up with some stars in the ceiling.
Make you sleep in it. You pull up in a Bugatti, you might be sleeping in that joint.
Right. The Bentley truck, like no.
No, I like that though. My flex is on my family. I actually like that saying.
Yeah, that's fire.
That's a bar right there. We're gonna slow that down. We're gonna slow that down because that's a bar right there. My flex is on my family, so I like that. So let me ask you this though: what's the future for you in business? What are some of the things that you're looking forward to getting into, or what are some of the things you're planning coming in the future?
So it's tough. I'll tell you, like my quick hitters. I'm looking to get my flip business. So like I've been flipping the last 2 years. I started out doing the rentals, then I started flipping. I used flipping basically the first time I was doing it to pay for my wedding. So I was able to use flipping to pay for my wedding in cash. We not on no payment plan, still paying the wedding off, even though we done. So it was like using the flips. Now I'm using the flips to create enough income. I can start buying more rentals, but I want to have more rentals without no mortgages. So that's part of my rental portfolio. I don't want, 30 cribs and all of them got mortgages. That I don't want that. I need to figure out another balance for that. I want to do that through the flips. And then on top of that, I want to expand, the real estate business from the agent side. So eventually I probably want to be a broker, not 100% sure, but I know I want to, scale it so that I could, do more things with more people. So I know eventually that'll probably be in my forefront as far as being a broker, having the flipping business pay for the rentals. And I would say outside of that, bringing my wife into the business, that's one of my goals. Even if she's not in the business 100%, but having some capacity in business so that she can, get out of her 9 to 5.
Gotcha.
That's when my flex will be real heavy, when I get her out her 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's a mean flex right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the meanest. So let me ask you this though. You're successful now in real estate. You've come a long way from where you started. What has been the biggest hurdle or something that you've had to overcome to get you to where you are now?
You want all of them or just one?
whatever you willing to share. What would you say has been the biggest one? But now you figured it out and you got over it. What would you say that is?
So I would say that the biggest one is being honest with myself, and being okay with starting over. I think as entrepreneurs, we really get stuck with chasing the goal, and sometimes the goal, it doesn't come the way we think it should come. It can come in a different form. So being able to say, yo, let me take a break. This isn't working out, or it's causing me more stress. Maybe I need to take a step back and figure it out. Or maybe I need to talk to somebody else and figure out what they're doing and see if that'll help me do what I'm doing. So again, just not being too tough on myself is one of the biggest hurdles, I would say, and not being afraid to start over. And then outside of that, it's really just, I guess, just being able to network with people. So it's like, I think that the hardest thing is starting out or just growing in a business is you don't know what you don't know. So again, being okay with asking for help. Outside of that, I mean, most of the stuff, if you sit still long enough to figure yourself out.
What has helped you overcome that though? Like what got you to the point where you weren't afraid to ask for help or afraid to start over?
My kids, honestly. So when you think about kids, like I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, they ask every question under the sun. And they're resilient when it comes to saying no. I tell them no, they ask me again. I tell them no, they walk away and come back. So honestly, my oldest son, like when I tell you like, yo, that dude like changed my life, like no, he changed my life. You know, being around my kids and my son is like, all right, they will figure it out, whatever it is they want. So just taking that mentality from them to being flexible, it's like, oh, I'm not, you. Worst thing you're gonna do is tell me no. You don't want to sell the house. All right, you don't want to sell the house. You don't want to help me. All right, I need to borrow some money. Like, all right, you don't want to give it to me. All right, it is what it is. You know, or you owe me some money. I'm gonna ask for it. I ain't gonna tiptoe around it. Like, no, I'm gonna just ask you for it. You gonna say yes? You gonna say no?
That's pretty interesting. That's dope. So
yeah, you learn from
the kids. Yeah,
that's hot. That's dope.
Yeah, it is dope. It is dope, man. Yeah. So, Corey, you had a question you want to ask your brother?
I do. So, as a married man, right? You know, we're 3 married men on here. Well, how big do you think it is to have a supportive partner?
Ooh, I might have to go get my therapist down here now. No, I think it's 100% important because, like, as we get old, I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, like, I realized I was selfish. Like, I was selfish as a mom, you know, because it's only was me I had to worry about. So, like, I realized once I became a husband, a father, a provider, most of the stuff I wanted was superficial. So, like, I was the boy, because I said my cousin had the Maserati. That was on my bucket list. I thought that was a flex and a goal to have a Maserati. You know, so like now you see everybody got Maseratis, Bentleys, all that cool stuff. So it's like once I got my family, it was like, I don't need that. If I could spend $70,000 on a car, I might as well get that money to my wife. So again, she don't gotta work. Because the crazy thing is, if the people around you are happy, the people around you are in position, all they're gonna do is help keep pushing you up. It's the main thing is this people got to be okay with their position or their role in the family or in the circle. And normally it's, you know, the envy or the jealousy is what makes all that stuff hard. And I know some people like, yo, spouses could be envious, spouses could be jealous. So it's like y'all gotta figure out how the goals work, and remember it's not always about you and what you want, but what's for the greater good of the cause. So like, you know, that's definitely, I feel like 100% the key with the family and with the spouse.
Yeah, I mean that's good. We're gonna make sure she sees this part too, as you
know. Right. You gotta make sure you get some brownies. She gonna make you some brownies. Brownie points.
For real. Nah, she be grinding me up about some of the interviews. She's like, you don't be telling them like how I be helping you out. I
be like, that's what's up, man. Listen. A great partner is a cheat code in business. I always say that, man.
Absolute cheat code.
Going to them events, them networking events, like all the dudes that was like super successful, they always would say like one boy I met, the real estate professor, he like, yo, I buy my wife a new car every 3 years. No rep. She knows she getting a new whip. I'm like, why you do that? You know, girl, like why she need a new car?
That's the flex. That's the flex.
Exactly. He can get her a car affordable too. He could get her a car every 3 years.
I mean, no, it's the data actually shows that. Like, you know, you look at millionaires and billionaires, most of them are married. Like, that's just the data shows that. Like, it's not my opinion. That's just factual. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's just factual. So it's something there. It's the cheat code.
Got with B. You see how his situation went?
He went from millionaire to billionaire.
Yeah, facts. I mean, you know, that's just what it is though. Like a partner, because it's about having the right partner. You get the right partner and y'all grow together.
Because her thing is pay me in equity. And so, you know what I mean? Her folks been in the business forever though. So they was able to help push them along and put, you know, when they got together, you know what I mean? It took him to another place because he had somebody with experience. Even his wife might not have had the whole experience, but his, you know, her folks had the whole experience and was able to help push him through and take him from millionaire to billionaire. So, you know, that's like, you know, finding the right spouse is absolutely the cheat code.
Right. So Anthony, let me ask you this though. What is your favorite book or a book that's inspired you along your journey?
So I ain't even gonna say Rich Dad Poor Dad. We that's everybody should read that if they haven't. But I would say the Magic of Thinking Big. I read that in college. That was a game changer.
Definitely a dope book.
50 Laws of Power. I couldn't 48, but 50 Laws of Power I could read front and back multiple times. The Magic of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. That's another one of my favorites. The Section 8 Bible.
Funny thing, I haven't read that one. That's
Yo, I actually read that book, and boy, he be talking heavy.
Yeah, that's on my list. I haven't read that one. Definitely read 50 Laws.
The week it came out, that joint crazy.
Yeah,
Magic of Thinking Big is a dope one. I think the author's name is Schwartz.
I hadn't read
that's
that.
The red, white, and blue book.
Yeah, exactly.
David Schwartz, the red, white, and blue book. That joint is hard. Yep. I've read that one. Yeah.
And then my new all-time favorite right now is The Go-Giver.
The Go-Giver?
The Go-Giver. It's a red book.
I haven't read that one either.
Got a series, but
now I gotta do my Google.
Yeah, I gotta do my Google. I gotta get on that. I haven't read that one.
Yo, when I tell you, I read the book in 3 days. Like just recently, I read this last year, during COVID. Like walking around the crib, I'm reading it. So you can either do the audio book, but the book was love. When I tell you, like,
yeah, it's by Bob Berg.
Yeah, we'll add
B-O-B-U-R-G.
Yeah, we have a running list of recommended books that we'll put in. It's always in all our descriptions. We're going to add those books to it because I got to add that to my list as well. For 2021.
I'm telling you, read that book is going to be turned up, like, and it's not even on no super like hype you up stuff. It's just doing some, like, I could tell y'all are good dudes, like, so it's like literally the stuff that you already do, but how to put some more meaning behind it and then give it to other people and let them run with it. And then wait for it to come back to you tenfold.
Got you. All right, I'm on that. Appreciate that, man. Always look for good book recommendations, man. So you deliver with that. You gave me something I never even heard of before. So yeah,
I literally just had to be in Barnes and Nobles, like just walking by the store, like, let me run in here real quick. You know how like you see like the light, and the light is just like pointing to this, and I'm like, where the real estate books at? This joint is on top of the real estate books, like over here, and like I'm looking like something just said buy it. Like, I guess that was the man upstairs talking to me. Yo, get the book. That's for you. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting the book, and when I tell you, like, that joint sit next to the bed now.
Okay.
It's
one of them. I got you. All right, I'm on it.
50 Laws of Power, and the Subtle Art, like all joints is right by the bed.
Yo, that's interesting, right? So the 50 Laws of Power is interesting because everybody knows the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. But I like the 51 better too because is something that you can relate to more, the stories. So you know what I'm saying? So we talk about the 50 laws, they talking about 50 Cent's life, and but they used stories from his life to kind of talk about the laws, as opposed to the original one, where they talk about things within history. So the 50 Laws is actually a pretty good book for anyone who hasn't read it, and maybe you've read the 48. The 50 ones are a lot more relatable, specifically to our community.
So that was why I fell in love with that book, because it was like I read that in college, and literally, again, I'm still young, I'm learning. So at the time, I'm a sponge. So it's like I'm like, yo, this the stuff that be going on. You realizing people to be manipulating you, and how different people mindset be. And again, I realized like people crazy out here. But it's like, but now you got the information, you can see it, and you know how to deal with it. So like ever since I read that book, it's in my arsenal. Like, all right, I see how you move, and I'm right at you. I know how I got to deal with you.
Got you. All right, man. So listen, man, we appreciate your time. This has been amazing, man. Thanks for sharing and being open with us and everything. And for those, man, make sure you check out like what he does on IG, because his IG page is amazing. And actually, I'm going to be on his. He does an Instagram show. I'll be on there very soon. By the time this is released, it'll probably be that. I think. Yeah. So we doing something on Thursday, right?
The 14th. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So this will be out on the 13th. So yeah. So by the time that happens, and if you happen to watch this on a replay, go back and check on his IG page. We're gonna go chop it up on his IG page. But
can I plug that?
Listen, absolutely, man.
Now, so every Thursday we do IG lives on my Instagram. I've been doing it all through COVID. COVID, like I need to be around people. I need to see people. But because we can't be, in person like we used to, I figured out I'm gonna do these IG live interviews, and that's how me and you was able to connect, and now we can share each other's story with our network and other people. So just stay tuned every Thursday, 8 o'clock. We ain't watching HBO, TNT. You watching Instagram Live with me and JW Blueprint, 8 p.m. January 14th. And then my last thing, the end of the month, I'm on my first boot camp. So it's going to be part virtual, part in person, only for a group of 10 people. For 30 days, I'm going to work with you every Saturday. It's either going to be virtual or in person. But what you're going to do is you're going to get your LLC, your business logo. We're going to teach you about credit, and we're going to give you the game on how to invest in real estate while keeping your 9 to 5. I'm not trying to preach to nobody and tell you to quit your job. I want to help you leverage your 9 to 5 to help you, live the life and get the freedom that you want.
Man, that's fire, man. Because there's a lot of anti 9 to 5 culture, and I ain't with that, because my thing is be strategic, leverage, like you just said. Use the main word, leverage it.
Collapses. This country will collapse without 9 to 5. So they don't really want that.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell people, it's nothing wrong. My 9 to 5 got to where I was at, put me in position. Thank goodness for my wife's 9 to 5. That's how we got healthcare. So it's like everybody can't be in the entrepreneur space, but at the same token, you could use that 9 to 5 money so that you're not dependent on the 9
to 5.
Yeah. That's right. You leverage it. You absolutely leverage it, man. But I know it sounds good to say online to quit your job, but like Corey said, if everybody quit their job, this whole country would collapse. So, yeah, man. But Anthony, man, I just want to say again, man, thank you for your time, man. We appreciate you. Keep doing the good work, man. Keep documenting your journey and keep helping other folks, the way you are, man. And, anything that we can do or build together, we here, man. So,
yep.
I want to say appreciate you, bro.
Nah, I appreciate you guys for having me. I've been following y'all, watching y'all do your thing. So I'm honored. I tell people I do my thing, but now when y'all already do your thing and super respectful, I'm honored, and I definitely appreciate both of y'all for bringing me on here, man. And we definitely got to do something else again in 2021. Absolutely. We got 11 more months to connect and build.
And we definitely will. We definitely will.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So for the folks out there, listen, we appreciate all your support. Make sure you follow Anthony. Make sure you see what he's got going on. Stay in tune with us. As we always say, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we shall see y'all on the next episode. Peace.
Salute, y'all.